Hey, it's Joe Camposano, Camposano Insurance. Hey, it's funny, I'm in business 37 years. Can't believe it. There's days I wonder where the time has gone, especially since both my boys now are coming into the business and helping our clients. And I got a client who's been with me for a long time, actually since the late 80s. When we started in 1986. And he said to me, he goes, Joe, how did you get involved in and being a specialist in boat insurance? Who in God's name put you to that direction? I had to think about it a little bit, how far it's come and why. See, a lot of people know me as the boat guy. Yes, we used to own a big boat dealership down Manahawkin Road in Brick, and we've done boat and yacht brokerage. And that was all a part of, I hate to say this, but my clients forced me into that. I started as an insurance agent, actually as a life insurance agent back in 1985, and then opened my own firm in 1986 after I got licensed in P&C. And the funny thing about it is how I got involved in the boating side, and particularly even in the insurance side for that matter. I didn't go into it so I could just sell auto and home insurance. I grew up here in Point Pleasant Beach. I was really fortunate. My mom and dad had a home down the block from Jenkinson's. So every summer, since I was 3 years old, I lived 8 houses from Jenks Boardwalk. And of course, in the summer times, the middle of July, came the Hennessy Grand Prix offshore boat race. So yeah, I'm dating myself calling it the Hennessy because that's when it started with me. And I saw all these fancy boats and all the parties and all this, and I was hooked. Forget it. I was hooked. During the day, I would walk on the boardwalk, the beach. Back then, they had a water slide. I was a lifeguard there. And at night, I parked cars. I was hustling. And I would never forget it. The guy who had a lot of influence on me, I know he was crazy, but it was Rocky Aoki. And when he started, and he took it over, and he changed it to the Benihana Grand Prix, he used to come in with his limo, and I was the only guy he would let park his car. He just liked me. I don't know why. To the point where he actually took me into one of the parties, and he taught me how to use chopsticks. To this day, I can use a chopstick really well because Rocky Aoki taught me. But I was around the boats and all this stuff, so I said, I'm going to be a Benihana racer, and I go out and I buy a 22 Donzi. And, I was up at Lake Apacon running it. I was running it down the shore here. It was actually, I bought it from a buddy, an old friend of mine who lived here in Point Pleasant. And the funny thing about that boat was that it was the scariest boat I've ever owned because it was way overpowered. It should have never had the engine it had in it. But, thinking back on it, I took my life in my hands every time I used it. But then I tried to get it insured. This is where the story begins. No one would insure this boat. It went too fast. It was too scary. Who wanted performance boats? Nobody wanted this. I finally had to get it insured with Lloyd's of London. Now, this was maybe a $15,000 boat. I had to pay almost $5,000 a year in insurance just to get it insured. I had a small loan on it. I was new. I didn't know. And so I made it my business to find out who insured these things. And at the time, there weren't a lot of companies. So I kind of forced the issue. And I started working with brokers. I started working with London markets. I started working with Florida brokers to the point where I actually, at one point, actually insured half the racing fleet in the country through the APBA because they had no place to go. With that came the ability to write policies, standard boat and yacht. And being that I was living at the shore every summer, I fortunately had a lot of contacts of boaters, and I've been a boater all my life since that time. And that's kind of how it morphed into being the boat insurance guy. I also later realized you can't live on just boat insurance, and I had to really take care of my clients. My clients were really starting to ask us, hey, Joe, can you save me on auto insurance? Can you save me on homeowners flood? And we were doing that. We really got heavy into it about 25 years ago, but since we've closed the boat dealership and the boat and yacht brokerage, we closed the boat dealership, almost 6 years ago. And brokerage we got out a year ago because it just became too much for us. We knew what we do best, and it's insurance. And with the boys joining the firm and me getting on in my age, I decided to do something that I know I'm really good at, and I know what helps our clients. So it's a kind of a short story. It's a whole 5-minute dissertation. God, my last 37 years. But that is how I became the boat insurance guy. Always take your questions. Give me a call. Shoot me a note on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Or just call me just to chat. Take care, everybody.